So hello everyone. Today, me and my partner Chrysler are going to discuss knowledge. So for our objectives, we are going to understand the overview of knowledge and categorization and how people organize information in their minds. We are going to explain what categorization is and why it helps people recognize and group similar objects, ideas, or experiences. Third, we are going to identify the different approaches to categorization, including definitional, prototype, and exemplar approaches. Fourth, we are going to describe how categorization is studied, such as through the sentence verification technique and hierarchical organization of knowledge. Lastly, we are going to understand the familiarization or novelty preference procedure on how infants recognize new and familiar things. Now let's proceed to knowledge. So knowledge is the awareness, understanding, and familiarity of facts, truths, or information acquired through experience, education, or observation. So sa madaling salita, yung knowledge, yan yung kaalaman natin. So paano ba natin nalaman na yung Tagalog ng knowledge is kaalaman? So that is through education. So knowledge yan. Paano natin nalaman na kailangan natin maghugas ng plato pagkatapos magkain? Kasi naobserbahan natin yun siya sa parents natin or sa mama. Knowledge yun. What if nagkaroon ng emergency tapos wala kang pera? Tapos the next time na nagkaroon ka ng pera, natutunan mo mag-save ng emergency funds. So, nagkaroon tayo ng knowledge through our experience. So, ganun yung knowledge. Next is concept. So, according to Solomon et al. 1999, concept is a mental representation that is used for a variety of cognitive functions, including memory, reasoning, and using and understanding language. So, yung concept, ito yun siya ang mental image or idea in our minds that help us understand, remember, and categorize things. So, kunwari may narinig ka na fruits. So, meron ng concept sa utak mo like apple, banana, or mango. So, kahit na iba-iba yun sila, alam mo nakabilang yun sila sa category na fruits. And that is how concept works.
So now, let's proceed sa categorization. It is the process by which things are placed into groups, which is called categories. So, ang categorization, it helps our brain na i-organize yung information ng madalian. So, for example, yung mga chips dyan, cookies, and candies, it can be grouped as snacks, while yung dog and cat naman can be grouped as animals. Next is definitional approach to categorization. We can decide whether something is a member of a category by determining whether a particular object meets the definition of the category. Definitions work well for some things, such as geometric objects. However, most natural objects such as birds, trees, and plants, and many human-made objects like chairs, definitions do not work well at all. The problem is that not all of the members of everyday category have the same features. For example, yung geometry. Pag ni-define kasi ang geometry, ibig sabihin may sides yung shapes. For example, square or triangle. Mas madali natin ma-categorize yun pag ni-define nila. Pero sa chairs naman, ang definition niya is pwedeng maupuan. Pero kasi pwede rin tayo makaupo sa mga bato, floors, at kahoy. So, iba-iba yung features na pwede maging chairs kapag ni-define unlike sa geometries. Next is family resemblance. Refers to the idea that things in a particular category resemble one another in a number of ways. Example, yung picture dyan sa gilid, which is yung mga birds. Pasok sila sa category ng mga birds, pero magkakaiba sila ng features, like yung sa feather nila, yung wings, and yung sa color ng beak nila. Next is prototype approach to categorization. According to this, membership in a category is determined by comparing the object to a prototype that represents the category. So, sa madaling salita, yung approach na ito is nagsasabi na we categorize things by comparing them to a typical example, which which is called prototype. Prototypicality is a term to describe how well an object resembles to the prototype of a particular category. So, ang example dito is yung kapag nag-iisip tayo ng ibon, so ma-imagine natin na nakakalipad siya. Pero kapag nakakita tayo ng ibon na looks familiar sa image na nakikita natin, ma-recognize natin siya as ibon talaga. According kay Eleanor Roche, 1973, she proposed that the typical prototype is based on an average of members of a category that are commonly experienced. She describes variation within categories as representing differences in prototypicality.
Now let's proceed sa dalawang types ng prototypicality, which are the high and low prototypicality. So, high prototypicality, it means that a category member closely resembles the category prototype. So, ibig sabihin yung resemblance ng category member, mas close siya sa category prototype. Tapos, yung low prototypicality naman, kabaliktaran siya ng high prototypicality. So, sa low prototypicality, yung resemblance niya malayo. So, as you can see dyan sa slide, category of birds, sa high prototypicality, makikita nyo dyan yung blue jay. Good example siya ng bird kasi ang pagkaalam natin sa ibon, mayroon siyang feather, mayroon siyang tuka, and nakakalipad siya sa himpapawid. Well, ang example naman dyan sa low prototypicality is ang penguin. So, ang penguin, bird din siya, pero low prototypicality siya kasi malayo masyado yung resemblance niya sa bird kasi hindi siya nakakalipad. Ganun. So, hindi siya ganun ka-good example pagdating sa category of birds. Next is sentence verification technique. It is a procedure used by Edward Smith and co-workers noong 1974. So, ginamit nila ito para ma-determine nila kung gaano ba talaga kabilis yung mga tao mag-answer ng questions about sa isang category ng isang object. So, nung ginamit nila itong technique na ito, nalaman nila na yung participants, mas mabilis sila nagsagot sa mga objects that are high in prototypicality compared sa mga objects that are low in prototypicality. Kagaya na lang sa category ng fruit. So, mas madaling nagsagot yung mga participants ng apple compared sa pomegranate. Kasi mas common yung apple compared sa pomegranate. Next is the typicality effect. So, it is the ability to judge highly prototypical objects more rapidly. So, ito yung ability natin na makarecognize ng mga mas common na objects compared sa mga hindi common na objects. Prototypical objects are named first. So, kapag yung participants, they are asked to list as many objects in a category as possible, mas nauna nilang naiisip yung mga typical na examples compared sa unusual ones. For example, sabihin nila, mag-name ka ng fruit. Ang una mo talagang sasabihin is apple, or mango, or banana. Hindi dragon fruit or like star fruit. Kasi nga, mas common yung banana, apple, or mango compared sa star fruit or dragon fruit. Next, prototypical objects are affected more by priming. So, lahat naman tayo familiar sa priming. So, priming happens kapag yung isang stimulus, tinutulungan niya yung brain mo na ma-recognize yung another stimulus ng mas mabilis. For example, sinabi mo na yung word na furniture. Tapos, tinanong ka kung alin ang furniture, yung chair ba or yung cellphone. So, mas mabilis mong sasabihin na chair kasi nga, mas typical yun siya na example ng furniture. So, that is how priming works. Now, let's proceed to exemplar approach to categorization. So, pareho lang sila ng prototype approach, pero in exemplar approach kasi, we tend to categorize things and compare them sa mga examples that we already encountered or experienced before. So, instead of one example lang, it involves many examples. So, kada example, ang tawag dun sa kanila ay exemplar. So, exemplars are actually members of the category that a person has encountered in the past. So, exemplars, sila yung mga specific example that are already stored in our minds. So, for our example, makikita niyo dyan sa slide, kapag yung person daw naka-encounter na ng sparrows, ng robins, and ng blue jays sa past, yung tatlong ibon na yun, sila yung magiging exemplar para sa category ng birds.
Next is hierarchical organization. This is kind of organization in which larger and more general categories are divided into smaller, more specific categories and creating a number of level of categories. So, sa hierarchical level, mayroon tayong 3 levels of categories, which is ang subordinate level or also known as global level, basic level, and specific level that also known as subordinate level. So, ang example sa subordinate level or also known as global level is ang furniture. So, dito, hindi pa nito sinasabi kung anong specific na uri or anong specific na furniture ang tinutukoy niya. Kaya malawak at general yung category niya. So, kapag sinabi mo kasing furniture, pwede mo siyang isipin na chair, table, bed, cabinet, at iba pa. So, dito, makikita natin kung paano siya mahulog sa basic level. Next is second level, which is ang basic level. So, dito, ang example dyan is yung chair, table, at saka yung bed. Nasa basic level siya kasi dito pinapakita yung common na ginagamit natin na pangalan sa araw-araw. So, dito sa basic level, ito rin yung pinakamadaling ma-recognize ng mga tao. Tsaka kadalasan ito na unang pangalan na ginagamit natin kapag meron tayong nakitang object. So, example dito is yung kapag may nakita tayong upuan. So, kadalasan sinasabi mo na chair agad, hindi furniture or dining chair. And last sa levels of categories ni Roche is ang specific level. So, dito is ang example niya ay ang kitchen chair, dining table, at saka yung mga single bed. Siya ay nasa specific level na kasi mas detalyado at saka mas specific na yung uri ng basic category. So, ibig sabihin, pinapakita na nito yung exact type o gamit na objects. So, makikita natin sa picture na ang chair is nasa basic level. So, magiging specific level siya kapag sinabi natin kitchen chair kasi mas specific na para sa kitchen talaga yon. So, para mas madali natin maintindihan ang 3 levels of categories, ang subordinate level is yung pinaka-general. And yung basic is yung pinaka-common na ginagamit natin na pangalan. While ang specific naman is yung detalyado and specific na type. Kunyari yung kitchen chair. And lastly, familiarization or novelty preference procedure. This makes use of the fact that when given a choice between a familiar object or a novel one, infants generally will look longer at the novel objects. So dito sa method na ito, sinasabi nila na yung mga babies is usually tinitignan nila ng mas matagal yung mga bagong bagay compared sa mga nakita na nila or sa mga luma na kasi curious sila. So example dito is kapag may laruan yung bata na red na bola. So dito, kapag nakita niya ito is familiar na sa kanya. While kapag yung baby naman na isa is kapag binigyan mo siya ng bagong laruan, which is yung yellow na bola, mas tinitignan niya ito ng matagal kasi hindi familiar sa kanya at saka bago. And that's all. Thank you!